Wow, wow.
I don't want vagina abs to stick. That sounds so awful.
Daddy, what's that?
Cyborg, I want to point out that you can't say the word wolf. You said night wolf before, and it's pissed me off ever since.
No beta code? I'm surprised.
Not bowing down to the con. That's a paddling.
Hey, Cyrax boy, guess what?
Who the fuck doesn't like Yoshi?
I don't like Yoshi.
What the fuck?
Yoshi.
How do we feel about Tremor? Because I gotta say this. I want to see him come.
Yes, but it's because I'm actually peeing in a bucket at the bottom of my seat. So like, I'm
Nitara's design.
You know, you're saying Nitara again.
Oh shit, thank
Just let go.
I'm on so many drugs at the moment.
Great. Glad to hear it.
Alright, well, I'm done being serious. We can talk about the taste of cock again. If that's what you guys want to.
Wait, what?
This is my fucking ass hanging out. What, bitch?
Are we
Guys,
even
not
recording right
understand-
now?
We're not recording, of course not.
wondering.
Nobody's gonna listen to this.
Am I hearing like the sound of like bullets being loaded into a chamber and like shots being fired?
Is it like an air gun? I don't.
Am I hearing like Russian roulette like right up next to the mic? What's going on? Yep, definitely taking shots with a rifle.
Welcome back to the Netherkast, everyone. It is a very special episode today. It is our 3-year anniversary. Oh gosh, it just feels like just yesterday. I tell you, I don't even know what to do with myself. I'm afraid to say anything, quite honestly, with you. Yeah, it's been tremendous 3 years. I can't thank everyone enough. I have at least 3 or 4 people to thank. I'd like to start off by thanking the very gentleman that helped me out along this entire way, and that is my good friend Tyler. He definitely helped me out here. Jesus, of course. Let's see, who else really helped along this path of to my success? Smoke Man definitely played a part there. And
Just gonna drink this here alcohol.
just kidding, everyone. Yeah. So, right off the bat, of course, we have Razor, Temp, Shad, as always, and I am Black Cyborg. So, thank you all for tuning in. We are doing things a little bit differently this time. I want to mention this real quick before we get into things too much here. And that is the fact that we have a Discord channel now. So some people are actually listening to this live. Not for the first time. We have streamed before. But this is going to be a little bit different in the sense that now people can listen in as we're recording. We won't be live, but they can listen live. And they can actually join the discussion. We're going to have segments for people to ask questions, as well as segments for people to come on and actually talk. So we're going to try this out today, and if everything goes smoothly, we'll do it in the future. That's assuming anybody wants to talk. If nobody's queued up to talk, that's perfectly fine too. But hey, come check out the Discord. We have it posted on the Facebook. I will link it in this actual YouTube video, and it's up on Twitter as well. So you can find that link to our Discord in several places. We'd love to have you. We have plenty of discussion going on in the actual general chat, and we have, like I said, we'll be doing our episodes on here going forward. So you can join in at some point. So anyways, thanks everyone for tuning in. How are you guys doing for episode 79, 3-year anniversary?
I'm doing good. I'm excited for this episode, actually. This is a topic I've wanted to do for some time, so I'm locked and loaded. I can't wait.
What's it gonna be? What's the topic? Spoil the
Best
beans.
and worst of each Mortal Kombat game from 1 through whenever we're done. But we'll probably be a 2-parters, so we'll see how that goes.
Spoil those beans.
Because we just can't shut our fucking mouths.
Yeah, that's us.
We have so much to say.
every time it's like, okay, we're gonna record for about an hour. We're gonna keep it nice and short. 3 hours later.
We have a lot to say about the shit that we love, and we really love this franchise. You can tell by just how little we've been talking about Injustice over the past 3 or so months that we love. We are here for the combat and nothing more, nothing less.
I mean, I like the DC universe, but not when you cover it in armor.
I'll give my traditional. I still love Injustice 2, but I'm playing Marvel right now, so that's just where I'm standing at the moment. But
I'm just finishing off Samus Returns, and I've invested heavily in Mario Odyssey, which is not bad at all.
Not bad at all. That's a paddling.
I think it's deserving those 97 Metacritic scores I'm seeing, but certainly it's fun. Needs Ouija.
Yeah.
They all need more Ouija.
Everyone loves Yoshi though, so we always need more Yoshi.
I don't know. That's I don't know where
man,
you're getting that information.
Yoshi's
I'd like to see
Island.
the census data.
Yoshi's Island, Mario World 2, was the first time I felt insulted by a video game. Like, personally. Hey, this is Super Mario World 2, the sequel to that game you liked, except it's a prequel to the game you liked, and the main character is Yoshi, and I hope you like crying babies. Also, fuck you.
Yoshi is the best, and you know it. Just say it.
I like the game Yoshi's Island, but I have like a philosophical problem with it because it completely retcons Mario's origin story.
You know, just
Worth it.
what needed to be changed
He's from the Mushroom Kingdom.
His
He was
origin-
delivered by a stork/dinosaur.
His origin story is absolute crap anyways, let's be honest with ourselves here.
Oh, fuck you.
Hey, do you know who you're talking to? You can't talk to me like that. I was 6 in the world in Mario Golf. You do not address me like that. Do you understand me? I got a chicken dinner the other night in PUBG on my first game. You know what? Just a little bit of respect is all I ask.
All right, Shooter McGavin.
He fell down a fucking storm drain from Brooklyn, and you can't tell me different.
6 in the
He's a
world
plumber.
Mario
Just
Golf.
magic pipes.
That makes me already a better judge of this, okay?
Scored 4 touchdowns in one game.
All right. It's not Al Bundy. This isn't a joke, all right? This is serious. You're making a mockery of 6 in the world, okay? All right, you know what? Let's just move on. All right, we got games to get to. Stop congratulating ourselves. The egos on you guys, just ridiculous, okay? The egos. Let go my egos.
I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast. You eat pieces of shit for breakfast?
All right, now we're just quoting movies. We're not even talking anymore. This isn't even a discussion.
Good movies. Good movies.
This
Yeah.
is not how we get a sponsorship deal with Ego.
No, this is not. This is not. I think Stranger Things probably got that on lock. But all right, well, we'll move on to the games here. So first off, though, I do want to open up the question. We do have one question for the show. I know it's kind of on short notice, but I did get a question for the show. We got it in our Discord channel here. Mr. C95 wants to know, where do you guys see NRS in 5 years? Don't say doing your wife. Don't say doing your wife. So, that would be very
They're
wrong of them.
headquartered in Florida, right? So underwater?
Yeah, they're in Florida. That makes zero sense.
Yeah, they're totally in Florida. That's exactly where they
That's
are.
not it at all. I'm pretty sure they're in Michigan. Okay, so what do we got? Okay, we'll
Chicago,
go around.
Michigan.
What do you guys think they're going to be doing in 5 years?
Serving me in the NetherRealm.
Oh, damn.
It's really not that far out from doing your wife, honestly. I feel like those are categorically
No, I mean, provided all goes well for them, why wouldn't they still be doing what they're doing? I mean, they're under the warm, loving umbrella blanket arm hug of WB Enterprises, who will keep them nice and stocked with all that fresh money that companies need to grow and thrive upon. And the current gen still has a little bit of life in it. I don't know, exactly 5 years. I don't think we'll be staring down the barrel of another game, but I think we'll be about ready to see MK12 or whatever we call it debut on another generation of consoles. That's what I see. I don't think they're going anywhere.
I think it'll be MK11 and then another Injustice game, or maybe like a mashup of them again, like a versus or whatever. I don't know. Maybe we're looking at Fire and Ice or whatever at that point. Who knows?
I'd like to believe that.
I think they're going to stick to the schedule. We'll have another MK, and then we'll have another Injustice. And then after there have been 3 Injustices, that might be where they start looking to change the schedule.
Maybe a horror icon game by that point. Who knows?
That's always been my money, because it's just the talent's all in one spot now, or a lot of it is at least. The most expensive part of the talent is all in one spot right now, so I don't see that changing. And yeah, I honestly, like, I don't know what I don't really want to see anything from them in 5 years. They'll be doing well. That's my short answer. But MK11, this is kind of like the last hurrah. If they don't kind of sell me on this game, like, I'm tired. MKX was exhausting. I still think that game works on a lot of levels, but if it's just the MKX show at this point, I don't like their current style of games. Hopefully that changes. I don't think that had anything to do with the question, but they'll be doing well. They're going to be doing very well.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump into the topic of the day. We're gonna go. So here's how this is gonna work, as Temp was alluding to before. We're gonna go through all of the MK games. It's gonna be a two-parter, maybe even three-parter, depending on how long this thing takes. But we're gonna try to get through in this episode. We're gonna get through MK1, 2, 3, Ultimate 3, Trilogy, MK4, and Deadly Alliance. So that might be a little bit more than we can get to this time. It really is just going to depend on how much we have to say. We're gonna go through everything. We're gonna name one thing we like about the game and one thing we dislike about the game, each of us. So, what were we saying, Chad?
I think that we should at least try to get through up to MK4 and cover the quote classic period.
Sure. I think that would be, if we at least get through MK4. That's a fair distance. Yeah. But all right, we'll jump into this here, and who wants to lead us off? Temp, it was your idea. Why don't you get us started here on MK1? You're all locked and loaded, I can tell.
Sure, yeah. The cool thing about this whole game is we can pretty much say whatever we want. There's really nothing off the table. So if I'm going to talk about the best thing about MK1 for me, I am going to say Reptile. The hitting character is really a big innovation if you really sit down and think about it, and I think the idea of wanting something you can't have is a very old idea in fighting games. I think fighting games is better than anyone. And Reptile was my favorite character for a long time. And it was a great setup because when they made him playable in part 2, it was
Wait, he's your favorite character?
He was, not anymore.
Oh, okay.
That's just the Sub-Zero.
I was about to say, you're just a liar. First of all.
But he was for a while, and I've kind of had like a Reptile renaissance where I've been using him a lot more lately, so I find myself missing him a lot more, but just, I mean, you could maybe generalize it as just the secrets of MK1 in general, but Reptile is something substantial, is the kind of like the heart of that. And that was just the coolest thing back when I was a kid. Cooler than the fatalities, cooler than a lot of the characters even. I really like that aspect of the game. And do we want a full circle before I go on to the worst? Or do you guys want to get your best out of the way?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll go next because I thought of mine. So my favorite part of MK1 is actually the select screen music. That is my favorite select screen music out of all of the Mortal Kombat games. I don't know why, it just sticks with me. It's got a lot of hype to it. It's got that oriental vibe to it. I just think it's exactly... I want it back. I don't know why they haven't done unlockables in the later games where you can unlock previous select screen music, previous announcers, or anything like that. Why don't they do that? I feel like at least the select screen music, that's an easy thing to do. I could understand why they don't do announcers, because then they have to do the voice recording for a whole nother set. You know, I get that. But...
yeah, it's like, let's track down Steve Ritchie and get him to say Devora.
Yeah. So I get that.
I think he's deaf now and can't do that, sadly.
Oh, well, that sucks. But select screen, that's my favorite part of MK1. It's just really, it sticks with me. Yeah. Go ahead, Razor. Whoever wants to tackle it next, whatever.
I'll go next, yeah. So my favorite thing about MK1 is sort of similar to yours. It's not just the music, though. It's the whole atmosphere. Like, that whole... the stages and the music and the motif of making Enter the Dragon as a video game. And it's like that mix of Oriental and 70s, that sort of funk sound, that... you know?
Do you dig it? Can you dig it?
Why am I here and not playing that on bass right now?
I fucking... yeah, that.
I threw that shit 5 minutes ago.
When I think of what sets MK1 apart from the other games, it's always that feel.
It's very much got that that element that a lot of great trilogies have to it, and that the first act is like the alluring curtain. It's what brings you in, and it's not what's at face value what's important. Like, face value here being the tournament and the East Asian mysticism, Asian mysticism, because, you know, you peel back that layer and you find out about all the horrors of Outworld, which I'll get to and whatnot, but it says something that they were able to build a world like that to set things on that Enter the Dragon stage and then just blow that away with what came afterwards. and have the original still feel that much appeal and still feel like a necessary component to the franchise to this day. I would never want to leave the 70s martial arts kung fu flick aesthetic behind ever, which I feel we came too close to doing it a few times.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, we can circle back around. Shad, you want to go with your, or snake back around, or whatever. Shad, you want to do your hated thing about, or dislike, or whatever?
Well, I didn't actually get to say like what my favorite thing about the game was.
Oh, that wasn't your favorite thing? You were just agreeing with me?
It wasn't. I was just agreeing with it. No, that's it. Like,
All right.
I've actually given a lot of thought to this series over this past week, where, like, back in my mind while I'm doing working tasks and just really trying to come up with a lot of things to discuss rather than just snide remarks here and there. But like, it's actually hardest for me to narrow MK1 down about what I like the most of any of these games, because it is responsible for so much, and none the least of which is the cast of characters that I fell in love with as a young kid and still do love to this day. You know, you think about that, it's like, yeah, the 7 main characters and Shang Tsung and Goro and fucking Reptile.
Right.
And they are mainstays, and they are some of the best characters in video gaming fucking period, and you will not tell me otherwise. And for all that we like to complain that, oh god, we're sick of Kano or we're sick of Sonya, and it's true that some of these stories don't really go anywhere, and we're tired of seeing Scorpion be who he is, but I mean, I wouldn't want a game that the series ever actually leave everyone from MK1 behind, because I love them all too much. I could like take or leave Katana, maybe even Melina, Baraka, Kung Lao here or there, but I have a strong attachment to a lot of the characters from MK1, especially fucking like Cage and Kano, and also we tend to take from.
Yeah.
So you'd be all tired of Kano, but I liked him enough for him to be my Halloween costume.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, what's your least favorite part about it?
Oh my god, the controls are clunky. It is hard. I'm sorry. It is hard to play MK1 now, and like
It is. You're not wrong.
Fun doing it. Like, it's just, and I grew up on the SNES version.
Yeah, so did I.
And it was worse there. Playing in the arcade is still not great, but Jesus, man, holy Christ! Like, one of the many, many improvements that just sailed up and away as time went by was just how playable they made the game. Never quite hit the levels that Street Fighter did in the earliest days, but holy Jesus, it was a rough start. Anyone tells you that they played MK1 for the gameplay, the violence, or the fatalities, or the characters is lying.
Yeah. Well, I hear you. Razor?
Least favorite. I'm gonna say, for me, like I said, like I agreed with Shad, grew up on the SNES version, so it has to be the nerfed fatalities. With the singular exception of, I think the worst thing is actually the fact that Raiden's SNES fatality is lumped in with the others and doesn't get to be like something that comes back. Because that fatality is way better than blowing up the head.
There was an incredible visual aesthetic appeal to seeing someone disintegrate from like the feet up and like have their skull plop down on top of that little pile. You know?
Yeah, it was.
If you tell me Raiden MK1 fatality, that's the one that comes into my mind.
Yeah.
Of which because of the seminal 1995.
If I look back through the games over every fatality Raiden's ever had, that's still, I think, the best one.
The Immortal said it best. He turns his foes into a pile of dust.
Now I'm kind of wanting to say the soundtrack by the Immortals was my favorite thing about MK1.
I wouldn't hold that against you, but it's not strictly part of the.
No, it's not part of the game, unfortunately.
We all know he's not afraid to raid and cannot die. I would put some more time.
All right, well, I'll go next here. My least favorite part of MK1 is, God damn it, I forgot it. This is embarrassing.
There's a lot to choose from. I mean, there's quite a palette.
What? I mean, I had it, and now you've stolen it from me. Somebody I mean, you're on the right track there with the controls. I mean, I can't really argue with that in terms of the clunkiness. It definitely, out of all the MK games, I feel like it's the least desirable to go back and play from the fighting ones. It's definitely the one that I least get the desire to play. At least of the 2D ones. I'm trying to think. I had something in mind though that I disliked. Temp, why don't you go and I'll try and regain whatever the hell it was that I thought of.
Yeah, I can do that. Mine is very similar to Shadowloo's. My least favorite thing about MK1, the worst thing about MK1 is the mobility. MK1 is one of the weirdest neutral games I've ever seen. Like, I make fun of MKX for being very rock, scissors, paper, but in MK1, you don't really have a dash, and your jump-ins are very stiff and very easy to anti-air. So there's no real footsies, and the footsies are incredibly unsafe. So you have to use your special moves to get through the screen or to do any long-distance damage. But your special moves are unsafe. So it's like you have to either do unsafe shit so you don't get hit by the unsafe shit, or you will never be able to bridge the gap. And to me, at least in my experience, it's all about trying to get that first knockdown with either a slide or a torpedo or something. And it's so guess heavy, and it doesn't feel good because the controls suck. Even in the arcade, the controls aren't much better. I have pretty much every version of MK1, or at least the main three, which is the Super Nintendo, the Sega Genesis, and the arcade port. So yeah, the mobility is really, really not good in that game. I feel like MK1 and 2 severely need a remastering. They need a fucking... I would love to see a competitive version with better mobility options, but I'm going to be honest with you, it's unplayable. What's up?
I don't know if either of the two games could be competitive because combos don't exist.
You have to put them in.
Both games are just how many more times can you high punch or sweep than the other guy?
I kind of often, I kind of like really wonder if the whole reason that NRS never got around to rebalancing the old games was because they don't feel it was worth the effort, or they don't feel it is worth the effort. I mean, I can understand them like leaving MK1 in lurch, but I think there's a case to fix up MK2 and 3 if they were. Then again, that's probably a very, very difficult prospect.
I feel like I think all you really need is a dash and just I wouldn't change the spirit of the game. Your normals are the same. If you mash high punch, you're doing a high punch. If you mash low punch, you're doing a mid. I wouldn't mess with any of that. I would even leave the special moves as unsafe, but I would redesign the game so you have some other alternative than just doing something really stupid or unsafe in the neutral. Because there's not a lot. Walking forward, in my experience, does not pay in Mortal Kombat. It just doesn't. In Mortal Kombat 1, at least, it doesn't pay to just walk forward. That's the beauty of MK9. But yeah, those games are unplayable. MK1 and 2 are just unplayable, in my opinion. I would never revisit those games competitively, like ever. So that's the worst about MK1 for me, is the mobility of a shitty neutral game.
Yeah, I couldn't really think of anything. So ultimately, I'm gonna agree on the controls aspect. Yeah, it just doesn't play that well these days. So I agree that out of all the MKs, it struggles the most gameplay wise in terms of it's got a lot of clunkiness to it. But all right, we'll move on to Mortal Kombat 2 since we touched upon MK1 there, and I can start MK2 here. So my favorite thing about MK2 has to be the atmosphere. Mortal Kombat 1, Razor mentioned the theme quite a bit, and for me, I feel like MK2, the theme of the game just feels very dark, very ominous, very mysterious. It's got a lot of that going on. You guys all right there?
You were kind of sounding like Cyrax and Sector there for a little bit.
Yeah, I was actually doing a speed test to see if it was me or not, but you sound better now.
You probably sound fine on the recording because you're the one recording.
Yeah, I mean, I sound fine on my own recording, so...
All right, we're good. Moving on.
But,
move along. Move along.
So, yeah, anyways, just the mysterious, dark atmosphere. It's very ominous, very creepy. I just thought it was very fitting of Mortal Kombat 2. Of the franchise. It's what I think of when I think of the franchise. I don't think of cities and bridges and stuff like that. I think of, the living forest and the portals and stuff like that, and the combat temple and the tomb and all that stuff. All of that is good stuff. So yeah, that's my favorite part about Mortal Kombat 2.
Okay, next up.
Is that
Okay,
me?
I'll make. Well, no set order, but
Yeah.
do it.
You do. Well, okay. Yes. My favorite thing about MK2 is the atmosphere.
Oh, you son of a gun.
You know,
Oh
it,
man.
the game is beautiful. Like even today, like even though the gameplay is fucking garbage, the visuals are amazing. Like the game looks so good. The color, it's use of color. The use of color is brilliant. There's still like we called it realism back then, but it's really its own thing now. It's like you're looking to a portrait, and just the way like God, I love the classic. Speaking of portraits, when you pick your character and your opponent selects your character, so it selects their character, and the character portrait show up is like na na na. It's like fucking so tight. Like just the sound plus the visuals. Something was just magical about MK2, and everyone. It's funny because everyone says it's the best Mortal Kombat, even though, like Mortal Kombat 1, it is. I don't consider it a competitive game. It's got sounds.
Yeah, it's not really playable anymore, but it looks so fucking good.
God, it looks amazing.
Mhm.
And just, I mean, I can give so many examples. When you get to Kintaro, like, to me, people feel the opposite. I wasn't scared of Goro. When I got to Kintaro, I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna get fucked up. Like, he was just, you don't know the exploits. He's hard. That's a hard boss to
You know what
beat.
the worst fucking feeling in the world in MK2 was? It wasn't him bashing you across the goddamn arena, which he did frequently with great relish. It wasn't him like instantly jumping over fireballs with a teleport stomp in earlier versions on reaction because the computer's a prick. No, it was those odd occasions where you would jump kick and he'd block, and then he wouldn't do anything but growl. Because that was when you froze. That was when you were about to be hurt. Do you remember him fucking doing that? I think they added that in later versions, but Christ, like that was ahead of its time for that point in fighting games. I'm sorry, that was beautiful. That was such a great touch.
I want to say the taunt is credited to Mortal Kombat franchise. We innovated the taunt, I think. I don't think anyone did that before we did. I would say actually I developed the game, but I mean MK as a communal entity. But I mean, just the idea of fighting in an arena against an emperor, like God, it's so effective. It's just so charged. So yeah, that's all I gotta say about it. That's to me the best thing about MK2. I 100% agree with Cyborg.
All right, whoever's next, jump on it.
I think that's you, Razor.
Okay. Best thing about MK2, I want to say the color palette too, like the graphics, because there is a reason that when we talk about Outworld, I always say that it's not Outworld to me unless the sky's orange or purple.
Oh man,
Because
we are all making the same fucking points tonight. It's wonderful.
we are though. Well, it's just MK2. Like a lot of people will talk about MK2 being the best because it had like the best fatalities. And that is a thing, but I don't know that those fatalities would be as effective if the game didn't look the way it did, where like the colors pop so strongly. Because they bring those fatalities back in future games with better graphics, and there's something about them that's not as effective. And it's just MK2 is so fucking pretty to look at because the colors are so strong and vibrant, and it even gets to the point where like for me the tower stage was like this secret that I looked forward to fighting in because it was the only stage in the game where the sky is blue, and that made it special. So now when all of Outworld has a regular-ass Earth-like sky, I'm like, you're ruining it. You're just taking the mystique right out of it. Because not only is it not purple, but now you're also making the blue mundane.
Yeah, that's tragic too. That's a bad step down. Yeah.
So yeah, that's what does it for me. Just the strong, vibrant colors.
That's what gets me over the edge.
I'm gonna say, for me, it is the world design. Like you were talking about this in MK1, and this is where I feel that MK kind of really became the MK that we love, for better or for worse. Like MK1 was the start of it, and MK2 was, like I said, that point where we kind of peel back the curtain and see Outworld and all of its redolent. And what we have here was something that was unique and incredible looking, and it was a pleasure to be in. It was scary, you know? I've said this before, but when I was a kid, those living trees, nightmares. It was just Ed Boon's face, but they gave me nightmares. And, like, just between that and, like, the bodies on pikes in the background and the color palette being a huge part of this and the utter variety and the sense of scale that they gave Outworld as being this gigantic place full of all these different areas. It felt like this whole living, breathing world, and it was a fucking series of fighting game stages. And it's either desolate in one place or full of people in the next. And man, you had this sense that it was like some. At the kid, I didn't know what the fuck Mordor was, but I mean, that's looking at it back, like that's the biggest comparison I can think of. Is like it's Mideastern Mordor, lack of a better term. It's just wastelands and horrible mutated trees and all that is awful and horrible and peeled back, and
It's very much the Frazetta heavy metal cover album painting.
yeah, pretty much. And it's a fucking series of fighting games. Combine that with like the world building that we get in the text, and it's just they made something so wonderful and so unique. And when you tell me, oh, the skies aren't really purple, oh, you're not really being faithful to the whole fucking spirit of the world that you've created. Fuck you. All right? The fucking closest that they've come in recent years to like capturing that was I think the crypt in MK9, some of those spiny, thorny places, and like the bloody pool areas of the wastelands, those felt like natural expansions on the horror that is Outworld. You cannot have Mortal Kombat and have Outworld and just make it mundane the way that they did in MK10, and that is MK10.
Interesting.
So
yeah,
that's
I think we're
that's
all in
what I would.
agreement here.
That's what I would say. I had a very hard time choosing between that and the sheer amount of present in the game. But just if MK1 gave me the characters that I love, MK2 gave me the world, and still.
All right.
All right.
Okay, so who wants to go first of dislikes? I think we all went.
I can do dislike first. Because, honestly, it's not that different from MK1, but for me, it's kind of the gameplay, the AI. Mortal Kombat 2
Oh god.
is unplayable on one player for me, because
I hope you like jumping back.
every character in the game, every opponent in the game, rather, has the ability to throw on command to... In the middle of whatever you're doing, they can just combo break you with a throw, and they can do it from further away than you can throw anybody.
They don't have to be touching you.
Yeah, they don't.
They can be sweep distance away. Glunk.
It's
And
basically an infinite.
that's what makes Kintaro especially hard to fight, because he can throw you out of anything. Like, I'm doing Liu Kang's flying kick, throw.
Out of the air. That's happened to me before.
I'm literally throwing myself at that point.
Yeah, at least that's cool though. Like Kintaro just.
Like,
It's
I
not
could
cool when Melina throws you 7 in a row.
Like, I could actually see an MK movie like Liu Kang was going by kicking guitar, just grabbed him out of the air. Fuck you! Down you go.
It doesn't really work for Kintaro, but it drives me fucking crazy when, like, I'm Johnny Cage and I'm shadow kicking a guy and I'm getting thrown for it. Like, my foot should have hit you. What the? You can't just put your hands out and do that. I wasn't even close enough.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off of that. It's just got really. I mean, there's pretty much all of the arcade games and even some of the 3D games. They just suffer from that cheap AI, and you know it's there just to eat your quarters and stuff like that. But yeah, MK2, I was struggling to think of what do I dislike about this game, and that was the only thing I can think of that I can agree with is. It's just the AI can be absolutely brutal and unforgiving and just abusive to the point where, as you said, they're doing things that you're not even able to do. So yeah, that's not cool. But I mean, it just goes to show how good the game is, because I was struggling to find something I disliked, and that was the only thing I came up with. So
It's true. The AI is probably the only real shit point about the game. But I can't even hate it all that much. It's just funny to abuse it. as easy as impossible as it is to like try to take it in a fair fight, you can just close your eyes and just jump backwards and land the occasional glitched death punch, or just start a combo by jabbing them out of the air, and then they're fucking done in like 3 or 4 combos, depending who you've got. That's if you're feeling lucky and the AI is at the right distance to follow you in with another jump.
Yeah, to exploit them like that, they have to be at a specific spot in relation to you. Like the footsie game is so precise.
It's got to be pretty immaculately.
You cut out there.
Just said it's got to be pretty immaculately timed. That's the only real tricky thing about it. Once you've actually got the timing down, it's dumb. It's really easy. And you can beat Shao Kahn with like just a series of successive blocked jump kicks, and he cannot retaliate. It's true. You can just do upward jump kicks up to his arms from the ground, and he cannot do a goddamn thing about it. He will die. That goes with any characters.
That's why they gave him the knee in 3.
Probably.
Yeah. All right. Worst things? Who's left?
Me?
Go for it.
All right. The worst thing about MK2. Son of a bitch, the AI. I picked this 2 weeks ago too.
There are so many good things about MK2 that if the AI wasn't so bad and I was completely strapped, I'd just be like, Baraka.
If we've got to make a case for second shittiest thing, that I nominate Reptile's playability, because fuck you.
Was the literal bottom tier.
Behold my magic ball, my magic orb, which shall... Are you done? No, not yet. Almost out. Just be patient. It's coming.
The bullet is enormous. There is no escaping.
Why don't I jump over it?
It takes a while.
Yeah,
and so began the suffering.
God, MK2 is so good. It's so good that they took out the only 2 characters I didn't want. It's like Sonya. Oh well, look here. So yeah, that's God, MK2 is such a good game, but the AI is a big deal because like it kind of goes back to what I was saying about MK1. MK1's not playable in my opinion. It is literally an exhibition of just cool stuff from the 90s. It's all fatalities and endings. MK2 is no different. That game is not competitive. So you really need that single player experience to matter. And it doesn't. It's so ridiculously unfun. Finding the exploits is not fun, and using the exploits. I know, Shadow, you said it can be sort of, I guess, its own reward, trying to learn the exploits. I did the Shao Kahn jump kick thing, and it felt good once, but then you don't have YouTube back there. It's like, shit, I gotta do this 11 more times. So it's just, God, it's just not a fun game to play.
It becomes a chore.
It becomes a time-consuming chore too, because it's not foolproof. You can fuck that up if you're not careful.
Very easily.
Yeah,
I think in my whole life I've only ever actually beaten MK2 without continues maybe 6 or 7 times.
Yeah, well, I've never done it in arcade. I've only done it in the Super Nintendo version. It's the only time I've ever beaten that game. And
yeah, me too.
For me personally, like, it has to be a one-player game. Because, I mean, we pick on Reptile for being shit, but it really doesn't matter. The tier list for fucking is Jax and unviable. That's the whole fucking tier list.
Nope.
So, you don't think so?
No, it's Melina, Jax, moderately viable, fuck you other 5 losers, and then Reptile.
See, I put Jax over Melina because of the jump kick throw. I think that is so powerful. Like, as a both defensive and offensive tool, that is so good.
He's up there because he just has too much going on, but Melina's the only one that can actually keep him at bay because she's got air size.
Yeah, so Melina's the counter pick to Jax, but Jax is the top tier otherwise.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess I can agree with that, but I don't want to play as either. I don't want to play as either of those characters.
Yeah, no.
Jax has grown on me a lot over the years.
Slightly above Reptile.
So I'd love to see a remastering where there's just more options than neutral. You don't have to change the spirit of the game. I think the juggles are fine. I don't think you need to upgrade any of the combos in MK2. I think they're good as they stand. There needs to be a better way to set up the combos, and there needs to be a better way to defend in that game. The AI has to be good, and it was not. It was quarter stealing. It was literally theft, in my opinion. I have a lot of resentment. So, yeah, that's the worst thing about MK2 to me.
All right. let's move on. Let's keep on rolling to MK3. Favorite thing about MK3? Razor, why don't you kick us off this time?
All right. Favorite thing about MK3, the
Woo!
Okay, I got one.
Let me dig a little bit deeper.
I've got to admit, I did.
We'll come back to this when we get to least favorite, but I actually do have one. So people talk about being scared by Goro or Kentaro. To me, the only boss that really has a frightening atmosphere is Motaro, and that's why I'm so fucking salty that they won't bring him back.
I miss him.
There was something about walking into the arcade when MK3 was new, and you had no idea what was going to be at the end of the ladder, and you're like, probably another four-arm guy, and it's, holy shit, that's a horseman, and he is kicking my ass, and I can't do anything about it. All my shit bounces off of him. He shoots lasers out of his tail.
Because why not?
And, like, so you fight Goro in kind of a boring-looking dungeon. Like, I like Goro's lair, but it's kind of a boring-looking dungeon. You fight Kentaro in this open arena, which is really cool and all, but it's like, it's kind of sunset. It's not that scary.
And also, you're not alone either, which I think says a lot.
There's something about Motaro's balcony that...
No, it feels like you're being watched.
Yeah, it's real, like, creepy with all the, like, the candles in the background. It's, like, kind of a horror movie setting.
Yeah.
Well, the unfortunate part is they showed the camera's at the wrong side, so it doesn't look like a balcony at all to me. It looks like...
Yeah, it's
I see
not
what you mean by that.
It's completely indoors. How is this the balcony?
They just need to move the tripod, like, just, I don't know, 20 feet and then rotate it 180. You're good. But
I also, like...
And then you zoom in a little bit and you have a dolphin, whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah, what the fuck is a dolphin? But speaking of the balcony, another thing I really like about 3 is the... So, like, MK1 had a lot of this too, where you could tell that stages were connected to each other, but 3 was the first time that they actually were, and you could travel between them. And I love that the balcony is over top of the Soul Chamber, and there's that hole with the green glow you can see in the back.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Because I love anything that makes these stages a world, that makes them feel like they have a geography. Because it makes it more believable, like I could actually go there somehow. But yeah, that's my pick.
All right, Shad?
I've given this a bit of thought, and I'm going to go with unanimously the sound design. And it's not to say that I don't love MK1 or 2 soundtracks, because I really absolutely fucking do. But there's something that's, I think out of every single MK game, MK3's soundtrack is the most revisitable. I can actually put this on while I'm doing stuff, and I can bob my head to it. And I think that this was the point where, like, I don't know, Dan here kind of managed to capture this really good urban, dancey, maybe kind of influenced by the Immortal soundtrack or whatever, wasn't quite so Eastern in flavor, but still had the hints of it. It had a sense of bringing it on home. Like, more than anything in the game, I feel like, I don't know, the MK3 soundtrack gave me a lot of closure. And just from, like, the X-Files-esque sounds of the graveyard, and, like, the urban funk that you had in, like, the streets or the subway, there was a really, really nice mixture and balance of sound going on. And I've also felt the game was never appreciated enough for it, because, yeah, that's it to me. The game's got a fucking spectacular soundtrack, and I love it.
I'll once again piggyback, because I was thinking the soundtrack myself. I love the stage music. I'm not a big fan of the character select screen in MK3, the select screen music, but I do really like just the stage music. The cathedral really stands out to me. I love that. I don't know, just really good. But yeah, my favorite thing about MK3 would be the stage music, so I'll just kind of throw that in there. Temp, you want to go?
Yeah, sure. This is probably the first time I'm really going to strongly disagree with the round table. My favorite thing about MK3 is the roster. There's definitely this... John
Sorry.
Carpenter. No, absolutely. Please feel free.
It
There's
was
a John
unrelated.
Carpenter element.
It was unrelated.
Bad tuna.
Yeah.
I really, really like the John Carpenter elements there because they're turned up to 11 in this game, and we discussed long before the show, do we separate UMK3 and MK3? And I think me and Razor was saying, of course, they're just atmospherically, they're different beasts atmospherically. They're not even in the same ballgame in my opinion. So, fucking go Astros. The thing is, like, there's something about the world of MK3 that is my favorite, and there's something about how the characters from the more Eastern elemental kind of context just fit in beautifully. I love how Sub-Zero fits into this world. I love how the robots kind of emerge out of it, and I love Liu Kang finding out a fucking post-apocalyptic bridge. It's fucking tight, and that's not a substitute for Outworld by any means. They're different. And I love MK3 for very different reasons, but I love looking at MK3 so much. The game is so beautiful to me, and I love being inside that world. I remember back when I was a kid, and MK3 wasn't out yet, and it said, "Oh, it's taking place back in Earth," and I'm thinking in my mind, "Well, that's fucking stupid. Outworld was awesome. Why are we leaving Outworld? Why don't we just do everything in Outworld?" And then I saw they were doing the Escape from New York thing, and I'm like, "Oh God, it's a supernatural escape from New York. I couldn't be more excited about this." So I love the roster. I love Cabal's redemption story. I love Stryker's fish out of water story. I love Sindel's sort of like, victimhood story because I'm into all that tragic shit. Nightwolf is just badass because he has a PhD. I just fucking love MK3's roster so much. And God, I miss them. But anyway, that's my favorite thing about MK3.
All right. We'll round it back with the least favorite part about MK3. Who wants to go first here?
I'll take it.
All right.
There's an atmosphere of cartoonishness that pervades the. I'm speaking mainly about the fatalities here, but I'm going to have to add in the notion of Cyrax and Sector and Cabal to a certain extent with that face fatality. Didn't help things. Like, I remember at the time, a lot of people in the arcades that I was talking to were going, "Why the fuck does MK3 look like clown shoes? What is going on with, like, what is going on with Kano pulling a whole skeleton out of a guy's mouth? And why does, like, everyone have, like, 6 rib cages and 12 skulls? And what the fuck is going on?" Like, no one gave a shit when there were fatalities and friendships in MK2 because the fatalities still looked visceral. The game, like we covered, looked good. But no, like, MK3 asked us to accept a lot of stuff at once. Because suddenly it was robots and straight up eye lasers. There was this huge influx of technology. We were in Earth, we had lost that that Mid-Eastern horror feel from MK1 and 2. Now it was Earth. Now things felt a little bit more grounded.
Okay.
Grounded. Simultaneously grounded and fucking jack-off cartoon with dumb fatalities at the same time. And it was the fatalities being cartoonish was a total cop-out move.
Like Jack's growing like 1,000,000 feet
Yeah,
and stomping
yeah.
somebody
Shit like it was
for
shit
no
like
reason whatsoever.
It was
Animalities,
shit like that.
fucking
animalities.
Yeah.
You get the sense that it was both to like kind of appeal to that like another one of those arcade rumors and a chance to show that hey we can also be very silly when we want to be, and the game's reputation suffered for it. A lot of people like didn't dig Cyrax or Sector. Like people wanted fucking Scorpion back. People wanted the series to like be exotic and Asian tinged again and horror tinged again. And MK3 was kind of fucking wackadoo in a couple of different directions. I love it. Like we love it now for what it is, but at the time there was a backlash against the environment that it was trying to set, and that's something that MK4 tried to rectify with bringing the fatalities, making them a little bit more visceral and nasty. So yeah, that's MK3's biggest failing for me, man. They copped out and they caved into censorship because the heat was on, and it's a goddamn shame. I mean, for fuck's sake, when you dice someone into 3 pieces, their arms should be falling down and not just hanging there in midair.
Yeah.
No, your hands are attached to your hips. You didn't know that?
Oh, get the fuck out of
Magma
here!
blades.
That is, I'm gonna say, probably the biggest failing for MK, Ultimate MK3 and MK Trilogy, apart from a couple of minor nitpicks, which I'll get to.
All right. Mine's a part of what you just said, actually, and it's animalities specifically. And not because I absolutely hate the idea. I mean, I don't particularly care for them. If we came back from the old games, I thought babalities were done really well in MK9, and I've been very vocal about wanting friendships back, because I think there's a lot of creative things they can do with those. I like the idea. Yeah, I love the idea of bringing friendships back. I don't so much care for bringing animalities back. I don't see the point of them. I don't see how every character can turn into an animal, and it just seems silly to me. It seems pointless. They're no more vicious than fatalities are. You have brutalities, which have their own style. Animalities, to me, are the odd man out. They're the ones that just seem like they, for lack of better terms, are jumping the shark. Pause for laughter. All right.
Cyrax, if
yes.
you will.
And that's my biggest grievance on animalities, is that the animalities didn't even make sense in a lot of cases. I mean,
he's not just a shark. He's a shark who can swim through the street. He's a street shark.
Yes. I mean, what did Reptile turn into the monkey, right? Reptile
was a monkey. Yeah.
Okay,
Reptile was a monkey. Shiva was a scorpion. And then when Scorpion came along, he had to be a fucking, what the hell was he? He was a
penguin with an
he was a
exploding
fucking
egg.
penguin with a bomb.
It doesn't make any
because
sense.
Shiva, and they were all glowing.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense either.
The ones in MK3 all glow. The ones in Ultimate and Trilogy look like regular ass animals.
Yeah, and none of this made any sense. The glowingness, the lack of, like, the obvious animals that they should be weren't even utilized in the cases of the ones that should be certain animals. It's like turning Nightwolf into, like, a giant ant or something. It doesn't make any sense.
To this fucking day, like, I can deal with the fact that they won't go back and, like, touch up MK1 or MK2. But holy fuck, the amount of salvation that could be, the saving graces that could be performed for MK3 with all with this graphical touch-ups alone drives me insane. Ugh.
At a certain point, it's like, just play Mugen though, because
I guess
MK Project is basically Trilogy, but they fixed all the shit.
I mean, I guess I understand why Jax was a lion. Sure. Sonya was an eagle because patriotism?
Yeah.
Why the fuck is Sector a bat? Huh? What the
Because
fuck was
we're out of
Cabal?
ideas, man. Why would Sector have a Native American spirit animal? Really, like, if animalities are going to be a thing, you've got Nightwolf, Liu Kang, and that's it. Nobody else should be doing it.
Exactly. What the fuck was Cabal? Why was it dead?
Cabal was a rhino's skeleton, not even the whole rhino.
The whole thing just reeked of being drunk at a diner one night and just go, okay, he's got hook swords and he's dead. What's got hooks?
Skeleton rhino.
Rhino's got horns. That's close.
He's not really dead, though. He's like a burn victim. It should be like a rhino with scars.
You can't apply logic to any of this shit. I guess Shang is a snake. Sure, maybe.
Well, no, Shang is a snake I'm okay with, because then he does the Fire Snake in Deadly Alliance, and it's like he's wearing snakes on his clothes. Snakes became a whole motif for him. I'm okay with that. But...
Yeah. What was Striker?
Yeah, it was just dumb.
Striker was a T-Rex.
Yeah, he's like the... let's move on. This is dumb.
It is dumb.
What do we got next?
I haven't done worse
All right,
yet.
go for it.
All right. So for me, the worst thing about MK3 is sort of some stuff about the atmosphere that you guys have said before, but it's like, for me, MK3 is saved by Ultimate, because if you like, I like the post-apocalyptic city and I love the cyber ninjas, but not if you abandon all of the fantasy for the urban stuff.
I think this kind of ties into what I was talking about. Ultimate, I feel at least was partially a reaction to the initial backlash that MK3 received.
Yeah, like if it was a mix of fantasy and the urban, that would be cool, and that's why it is cool in Ultimate. And like, but MK3 by itself, when that came out, it was sort of like, this doesn't look like Mortal Kombat that much to me. I mean, hey, there's Liu Kang and there's Shao Kahn, that's cool, but excuse me, but it's like, it felt wrong. It felt like somehow a betrayal. And it's like, man, put the purple skies and Scorpion back, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, and like to this day of the 2D era, vanilla MK3 is my least favorite game because of that. Like the gameplay is great, but I don't care because I need my fucking Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
Well, you know, that's a shame of it. I feel like if Ultimate had not come out, like, people would be like, oh, MK3 was the one that brought the oh, MK3 was the one that brought the Cyber Ninjas in. But because of Ultimate MK3, everyone can default to that, and I feel like a lot of the better qualities of MK3 get overlooked. But I see what you're saying, and I'm about to back myself here in a minute, but yeah, I feel like if there was no Ultimate MK3, people would have been a lot more sympathetic, maybe. I think MK3 is always going to be seen as a fuck up because of MK3, so that kind of makes me sad. But you're not. I don't even necessarily. Well, I partially disagree with you. I atmospherically, I would not have changed MK3 as much as Ultimate, but a lot of the other stuff, like, I do agree with.
All right, whoever's next, I think it's just Temp.
Is it me?
Yeah.
To me, the worst thing about MK3, kind of what pretty much everyone is kind of hinting at, is absent friends. I didn't mind Scorpion being absent, honestly. I like his story thread with Sub-Zero, and I kind of felt that kind of felt done to me, to be honest with you. I feel like MK2 wrapped up Scorpion very well. Katana is one that's really a sore point for me. Like, I really, really feel like Katana needed to be in MK3, just like I really, really feel like Smoke needed to be in MK4. Yeah, so Katana not being remastered in that world, I think, was a giant missed opportunity. One reason why I don't kind of glory over Ultimate MK3 is because they went back to a lot of the original sins of the previous design, which is the palette swaps. Really, the only palette swaps in MK3 were the cyborgs, and that made sense. I really would have liked to have seen Reptile come back with his own design, Katana come back, unmasked. Now, she's not with Shao Kahn anymore. She doesn't need to dress like that anymore. Well, no, yes, she was. She defected in MK3, I think, in her ending.
Yeah,
she was working for Shao Kahn initially, though.
No, 3 Ultimate starts with her running away from Shao Kahn, so she really shouldn't have had the mask.
Yeah, so that was really disappointing, and that's a big problem. I mean, this is not the worst thing about Ultimate, but that I really did not like going back to that, and that basically amplified greatly with Trilogy. So the uniqueness of MK3, a lot of that was lost in Ultimate for me, and I think not putting in Katana, I think one or the other would have been fine. I don't need Reptile. One of them would have been nice to remaster in that aesthetic without the bane of the palette swaps, but I don't know. So that was heartbreaking to me. I do acknowledge that as a but you don't need to bring them all back. I'm okay with absences. I would have had at least one or two of them come back. So I definitely feel the pain of that, and I definitely agree with the recycled assets. I hated that shit, but it's not in animalities. There's really no point talking about animalities because no one actually did them because of the mercy mechanic. So even though they suck, like I may have saw like 2 animalities in the arcade my entire 1 year run of playing that game. So yeah, if you didn't own an EGM magazine, you never saw it anyway. So yeah.
I actually saw Animalities quite a few times. I think the people in my arcade liked showing off doing the mercy.
Oh yeah, well of course. Like that.
I get people left and right going, I'm gonna throw bad or whatever. I'll have you. Okay, no, it was a shark because no one ever played Sector. It was just Cyrax.
Well, it was just Cyrax because he was the closest you could get to Scorpion.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, that's also a lie. It was always Cabal. It was never. Fuck you if you think differently.
Nightwolf had a pretty strong game in the first.
Yeah, he did.
He did, but like after like month, it was nothing but Cabal. People understood.
Yeah.
There were a lot of strikers in my community, believe it or not. Early on, there were a ton of strikers.
Huh.
I actually saw
Striker was cool at
Cybersmoke
first.
fairly often. Once he was unlocked at the arcades, people
Oh, yeah.
were like, I'm going to play that guy.
Oh yeah.
Cybersmoke 2. I saw a couple of really tactical Cyraxes. The odd Nightwolf. Sindel had some nice presence, but that was basically it.
All right, well, let's roll into Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. And favorite part of Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3? Any takers?
I'll go first. I mean, as a reverse of what I said about 3, the best thing about Ultimate 3 is bringing back all the fantasy and the ninjas.
Yeah.
And like it's a small touch. There's only Hell, the waterfront, Khan's Cave, and the desert. But atmospherically, that's enough. Like, all I needed was a little bit more. And the waterfront isn't even, that's another city stage, but the sky was purple.
Don't forget
How you said it.
Don't forget the
Such fondness.
the Ski Slack Busores or Lost.
Yeah.
There's that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
I guess that counts. It's just a blue portal, but it is a
What more
portal
could you
stage.
ask for?
Hey, I long for the days when we were swimming in portals. We were lousy with portal stages.
Yeah,
We're lucky
now
to get them
portals
now.
portals are just like a special move people do. There's never a portal stage anymore.
Or if there is,
It's
it's shitty.
Pisses me off. It does.
All right.
Like there is a portal rooftop stage in MK9, but it's awful. Go on, yeah.
I was just gonna say, next for me, my favorite thing about Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 is the roster. Mortal Kombat 3, I did not care for the roster, but Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 obviously changed that. It brought back a lot of the characters I really enjoyed, and I do like a lot of the characters that MK3 brought in. I do like Cabal and Cyrax and Sector and Robot Smoke and so on and so forth. I do like a lot of those characters that they introduced. Nightwolf.
I heard
Night
that was on
Wolf.
purpose.
Night
That was on
Wolf.
purpose. That was on purpose.
No, but I do like those characters. But I enjoyed seeing a lot of the MK2 and MK1 characters coming back for Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. So I really enjoyed that quite a bit. So that's my favorite part about UMK3 is the roster. And I've gone back. If I go back and play one of the old games, it's Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. That's the one that I enjoy playing the most out of the old ones. It's mine.
All right. My case, secret character payoff. Every day with UMK3 was a money shot because I loved the notion that you could finally play as all these most of these mysterious characters in the back. You know, I'd spent so long fighting Jade and Smoke and like, oh man, like wondering about Noob Saibot and like suddenly here Ermac 2. And you've got like 2 forms of Sub-Zero now because one's dead. And like there was this aura of like mystery unraveling. And I'm sitting there going, fuck, it's a shame Smoke's a robot. Oh, what the fuck do you mean? I can play as a form? Well, son of a bitch. I can play as Ermac. I can play as Jade. Jade, who they've now differentiated from Katana. Hey, Reptile doesn't suck anymore. He's viable. UMK3 was like this secret character smorgasbord that just let me loose with everyone that I've always wanted to like unwrap like a fucking candy bar. It felt rewarding then, and it still has echoes of feeling rewarding now. It's just a lot of fun. And you show me that fucking intro with like Rain sitting there and being beaten up by Shao Kahn or just falling over, and you teasing me with people? Oh, you clever man.
Well, we had a little bit of technical difficulties there. Shad, what were you saying?
I was, yes, gushing over the fact that UMK3 was kind of a giant payoff in terms of secret characters. You know, you had Smoke and basically everyone. Ermac, who'd been a rumor since MK1. Jade now playing different from Kitana, but with enough similarities to see that she looked like an evolution of the MK2 form. And it was so rewarding, you know, just so goddamn rewarding. It was wonderful.
Yeah, that's a good point. It definitely had a lot of that going on for sure. It had the goodness. I feel like they don't have enough of that these days. Well, we know why. It's because you got to appeal to the tournament. You can't have too many unlockables and secrets like that. But otherwise, it just becomes a pain in the ass to unlock it all for tournaments. But
nothing gets people talking like secrets. Oh, but I want to play as him now. Oh, but I want you to die right now. Why don't I get what I want?
Damn.
Let it simmer, man. Let it simmer. Let the hype build. Let the rumors fly. Just show us something interesting and let the hype take care of itself. That's what happened all the fucking time.
We never said no secrets. We just said don't lock away tournament viable characters.
I like how you say we. I am the fighting game community.
Well, here's the thing about it.
Champ, you ruined SF5. SF5 is your fault. I'm waiting to say this for a long time now.
You do speak for the fighting game community, as we just learned, so it is
All
your
of them,
fault.
not just
Well, here's the thing, though, about secrets.
don't need arcade modes.
Now, hold on. He's not responsible for combo.
Yeah, we all love arcade modes in the FGC. No one was against that. Nobody.
What do you mean by you people?
I wish Akuma had a big stupid lion head.
No one asked for
I
that.
don't want Sagat back.
That is not the FGC.
Wait,
We
who
didn't
was the
say
fighting
anything.
community said they don't want Sagat back? I'll kill him.
Is this
Don't all Canadians have maple leaves in their foreheads?
this is
I like Street Fighter 5. Fang's cool.
community
No,
Communism?
hold on. That's,
Communism.
the sins of Capcom are not the sins of NetherRealm. Let's be clear. And the problem with secrets is in the age of the internet, you can't keep them secret anymore. We will know who those characters are before the game launches.
If you're clever enough, I think you can do it.
You gotta patch them in.
Like, you just like don't use their names as fucking file names for shit, man. Don't show their names on life bars. Just throw a fucking dragon dude or some thong and a mask and a wish and a prayer. Just throw a design in and see what people say. Like, who the fuck is this? What is this? What's going on? Can I play as this? Is this a joke? Is this an NPC? What's going on? Let the hype take care of itself. I believe that this is still a thing that's possible.
For the
And like,
record,
in the age of ongoing game updates, there's no reason why they can't do this.
for the record, I'm with you, but I'm only okay with a male ninja in a thong if there's also a female ninja in a thong. That's equality, sir.
I will take whatever comes down the pike.
Melina needs to take the
That's
pants
what she
back
said.
off, then
Yeah.
everything will be right.
All right.
Wow,
Anyways, so we'll move on. What we got next?
Like, you wouldn't play Flesh Pit's Tremor.
Who's next up? What are we talking about? I've lost track.
All right.
I think it might be me, but I'm not sure.
I mean, Blaze and Draman just wear their underwear. It's fine.
Sure.
I mean, meat is literally Flesh Pit's meat, so yeah.
Yeah, right? That is Flesh Pits guy.
Stupid sexy Oni.
What do you got? What do you got? Who's next?
Okay, I guess it's me, right? Or it's
Did you do favorite thing about Ultimate, or are we on the worst now?
no,
I
I,
did my-
haven't done my favorite yet.
Yeah, then it's you.
Okay.
Okay. My favorite thing about Ultimate, believe it or not, is Reptile.
Oh my god,
it's just,
we got a repeat here.
Oh fuck
He was let the man have it, man. Reptile was viable in this game. He was strong.
He was very strong. He was very fun too, but like when you're that young, like I knew there was a possibility you can come back in the next game, but next games don't just happen when you're that little. Like I think I was like, I want to say 8 or 9 years old when Ultimate came out. So God, when Reptile didn't show up in MK3, I was super bummed about that. And when they announced Ultimate MK3, like there wasn't a lot of promotional material. Like there were articles about it, but they didn't really show anything other than a concept art of Scorpion and Katana. That's all I saw before the game came out. So
I still have that EGM magazine. I've still
That's
got it.
fantastic. Oh man,
I remember,
I wish they showed
I remember there was a little booklet one of the AGMs came with that was just UMK3 stuff.
I remember like taking a trip to Ottawa with my dad and like have that EGM mag with me and like staring at the drawing of Katana with like her laced corset and going, yes. I didn't know what was making me say that in that Shang Tsung voice, but yes. And then turning the page and seeing Scorpion in his mask and going, yeah. And turning back, yes.
Nice.
This was a long. It was a very long 2 hours, and I must have read the same 6 paragraphs 80 times. But it was all I could think of that entire weekend in Ottawa. All I could think of.
It was
Like
crazy.
the evil insect in Family Guy. Good.
Good.
Yeah. So I didn't see anything before that, was released in arcades, and then I just had to go to the arcade one day and see the machine, and like it was. I know I told the story like 100 times on the podcast, but it was surreal just walking up to an arcade cabinet one day and seeing that it was Ultimate MK3, and then I walked up. I tried to look at the screens. There's so many people around the cabinet, and there was Reptile with like a fucking design unique mask on the player select screen. I couldn't fucking believe it. Then someone picked him, and he looked so good in game. It was unreal. It was dreamlike how crazy it was. So yeah, and that is my favorite experience with Ultimate MK3. There's a lot of great things I could say about that game, but why I don't play that game very often kind of ties into the worst aspect of it. So we'll get to that eventually. And just a heads up, I am probably going to leave in like 10 minutes. So we're probably going to stop at Ultimate Trilogy. We'll probably have to wrap up.
Oh, damn. I didn't know it was that soon. All right. Well, let's keep on rolling. Let's keep rolling. Who's got,
All
we got unlikes, right?
Yeah.
Dislikes.
I'll go first.
Go for it.
All right, Jade's AI.
Yep.
And they always put her as like the second person on the tower.
I would rather deal with everyone in MK2 than deal with UMK3 Jade, even for a moment. They had to tone the bitch down in Trilogy.
And it's a shame, because it was nice that Jade was finally a real character with her own moves, but then it's like...
She had to go! You don't slap a man with an 84% damage run-through projectile combo! Oh god, it was so painful. It was so bad. I would see her on the select screen and I'd be like, oh no. Oh no. No.
Well, those quarters were wasted. I guess I'll see you some other time.
I would pick the novice difficulty of the tower just to get it over with quicker because I was afraid of Jade. Bitch. I was so happy to be playing her. I was so happy she had all of her own moves and she was original, and they took what made her fun to fight in MK2 and they ported that over, and they gave her like little boomerang razors and not fans, but she was the worst. The literal worst. But she's still not what I hate most about MK3. UMK3.
What is it then?
You give me these new stages, right? You give me these nice versions of hell. You give me the waterfront. You give me the blue portal, and you give me this nice desert, and you got Cyrax little diddling back there.
Not a
and
damn...
you put these stages in some sort of fucking horrible glitch loop when I'm going through arcade, and I can't see anything else because they'll just fucking recycle. It drives me insane. Oh my god, like, you have no, like, those are my memories of Ultimate MK3. That's the biggest problem I have with the game. It's the new stages, and it's nothing else, because of some fucking glitch that won't let the stages cycle properly. Drives me insane. All the good work from MK3 that went to the stage and background design, and just fucking wasted. Drives me insane.
Tim?
My least favorite thing about Ultimate MK3 is the top tier. Like, honestly, it would be one of the best fighting games ever made if you just adjusted Kung Lao and Cabal. Cabal was already nerfed, by the way, and he's still way too fucking good.
Oh, yeah.
Version of Ultimate MK3.
They tried, and he was still Cabal.
Kung Lao has an infinite. Like, you have a fucking infinite in that game. I know, at least, I don't think they fixed it with MK3. I'm pretty sure he still has a UMK3 infinite. So it's not like MK1 and 2. There's a great engine there, and it's very functional, but there are glitches within the high tier that just make it not worth your time, and it's really unfortunate considering how good the game is. Again, I want a remastering. It's so horrible that you can only play the game on a casual level because any tournament is going to bring out the broken aspects of the game. So yeah, that's the worst part.
Yeah. I'm in agreement with the AI, and I'll just leave it at that. I'm not gonna be able to say any more than you haven't said. It was just a pain in the ass. So, all right. Well, is that everyone on Ultimate MK3 dislike?
Yep.
All right. Well, then we can take it to because obviously we don't have the time to go into trilogy, so we'll stop the actual going through the games right now. We got through 4, so we can make this about like a 3-parter. Nothing wrong with that. And for now, rounding out the show here, we do have another question, so I want to hit this again at the end since we got a question during the show. Snake Eyes actually asked, loot boxes are going to get worse before they get better, as is the case with everything in the game industry. You guys think WB will shove cosmetic pieces, not even full outfits, into combat crates, and how egregious, that's what I said, will it be?
Egroogly moogly.
All right. So,
Googly goo.
loot boxes is something I've been personally very aggravated by. I've praised and condemned Overwatch for the very same things. I praise them because all of their DLC is free. All of the characters are free. All of the maps are free. They're doing it right. However, they have loot crates or loot boxes or whatever. And
that's how they make their money, since all the rest stuff is free.
Yes, and that's cool. I'm all about them still making their money and give us the things that really matter free. That is why I don't hate them for it. However, it gets disgusting when they put out the themed events, so like Halloween or Christmas, and you only have a certain amount of time to get outfits through those crates. You cannot purchase said outfits with your coins that you've earned. You have to get them through the crates. So, unless you have a crap ton of coins, I think they might be 3,000 when they first come out. So anyways, you have to get them through the crates, and you do not have enough time to get all the things you want. So then they basically entice you to spend money, and this is the part about loot crates I do not like, is you have to spend money at a chance of getting what you want. Friday the 13th, the game, has done it right. Not only do they give you the characters and JSONs and maps for free, the only things that they're charging you for as DLC are things like outfits. I'm perfectly fine with making outfits something you have to buy. That's cool. But they do not nickel and dime you for them. They do not just break your bank for a chance to get what you want.
It's not random either.
No.
You buy and then you get what you
wanted to buy. You know what
buy.
you're getting. Exactly. You're paying $2 for 10 outfits. All 10 that they're selling, you're getting for $2. And even if it wasn't, say it was a worse price, like $10 for 10 or $15 for 10 outfits or whatever, at least you know what you're getting when you spend your money. It's a gamble. Buying loot crates is a complete gamble at what you're getting. It's like going to a restaurant and saying, I'd really like the steak. Here's $30 or here's $20. And then they bring you a hamburger and say, sorry, yeah, we're unlucky. The random meal that you paid for was not what you wanted. That's bullshit.
I hope you like calamari, but I'm allergic. Do you have another $30?
Yeah,
Sure.
and the thing with loot crates is oftentimes they give you things you've already gotten. We've already seen this with Injustice, is you're just re-getting the same stuff. And yeah, you can sell them back for a portion of the price. You can sell them back to it, get some coins back from it, and buy more crates or whatever. But the exchange rate in itself, selling them back, you usually get a fraction of it, so it's usually not even that worth selling the stuff. And it's just more time consuming. Injustice is a complete time sink with their system and a mess trying to organize it all. With Overwatch, it's a complete gamble whether you're going to even get what you want. You could spend $10 and get maybe one outfit that you want, and that's not even a good thing. Rocket League is another bad example of this, where I paid $10. I never pay for crates like that. I never paid for a single Overwatch one. I didn't pay for any Injustice ones or Halo ones. I never paid money towards any of that stuff, because if you can earn it in the game, hell, I'll just grind it out and get it. But with Rocket League, you had to pay to get stuff from a crate. There was no other way to get it. So I threw $10 down. I'm like, hell, I've put over 100 hours in this game. It's worth, and I only spent 20 on it to begin with. So I'm like, I'll throw another 10 on there. I've gotten more than my money's worth from it. I can throw another 10 on here. And I didn't even get anything that I wanted. There was it's just a random chance wheel that you get what you want, and it tells you, here's the items that are in this crate. Here's your possibilities, and it's out of 10, I got 5 keys with my $10 or whatever it was, and didn't even get a single damn thing I wanted out of any of those. And it's like, I just threw money away for just random shit. That's just a completely horrible system. And I am so happy that some people or some places are thinking about making these gambling, like rating it M for mature or whatever, or AO because it has gambling in it. That's a horrible thing to instill in kids, gambling addictions and all that. So yeah,
it's fucking sketch, and I think and there are already regulations in China and Japan about this shit that make it abundantly clear what you're spending money on and what your chances are. It is regulated like you wouldn't fucking believe in Japan specifically. There was a court case about this shit.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Temp, you want some thoughts thrown in here before you gotta go?
Well, I would just say, I mean, clearly they're bad. Clearly what Injustice did with their cosmetics, although not the worst in the industry, was still bad. And I don't know anyone who actually paid money for mother boxes. I don't know a person who actually used some of their hard-earned cash to actually buy mother boxes. I haven't seen it online. I haven't seen it in real life. So hopefully the message is clear. We do not want to buy randomized items. Will they do it? It just depends if it paid off. If enough, kids use their mother's credit card to buy random mother boxes,
gross.
Then yeah, exactly. Then yes, we're going to see it, and there's no stopping it, unfortunately.
That's what pisses me off, though, in Injustice is it's one thing to offer loot boxes, but if you're going to offer loot boxes, you better be putting out DLC for free. The characters should have been free in Injustice. If you're doing both, then that to me is absolutely disgusting. If you're doing paid DLC characters and you're doing loot box systems, to me you're doing both, and that gets scummy to me. At least give us the DLC for free like Halo did, like Overwatch did, and then if people want to pay for cosmetics, that's on them. That I'm okay with. It's disgusting, but that I'm at least okay with. What I'm not okay with is, and Rocket League did the same thing, they put out a lot of the maps for free and stuff, but yeah, I just can't stand just you're paying for a chance at something, and you're paying a lot of money. This is not throwing down like a quarter for a chance. It's not a slot machine. You are paying like $1 per try or $5 per 5 tries or whatever the hell they're selling it for. You're paying a lot of money per attempt to get what you want. It's not like we're talking a quarter here. I mean, the alternative is, look at Capcom. What was like the Marvel versus Capcom Infinite? It's like $30 for 16 costumes. Like, that's insane. You're paying half the game for.
It's more costumes than that, but there are only 16 have been developed at this time. The other ones are pending in the future.
Okay.
But nonetheless, that means if you buy the DLC pack and you buy the costume pack, you bought the game twice. It's still fucked up. I still don't condone it.
Yeah, it's outrageous. I can't believe companies are still getting away with this kind of crap.
Well, hopefully they won't. Hopefully no one paid real money for the mother boxes. So far, I do not know of an instance where people have done it yet. And we always complain about how shitty a lot of the gear looked. Thank God it looked shitty. Because if the fucking loot system was successful, it would have wrecked MK11. So there you go.
I don't think it's going to be a huge thing. I think it's going to largely depend on how much they were able to sell through Injustice 2. If what Temp's saying is true and it didn't seem to do all that well, then maybe they will thankfully abandon this. But we live in the era of games as a service. Games as a service. A lot of more companies are going this route. It's basically what Street Fighter is becoming. And I would not be surprised if, rather than going down a venue of loot crates, they started seeing full costumes as being exclusive for season pass purchasers or people with a combat account or whatever the shit.
Yeah.
So they're gonna get you. I've long since stopped hoping for an era where they'd be like not trying to get every last bit of our money. This is just the way gaming is now. For what it's worth, I think that they try to make things as fair as they possibly can, but they wanted to experiment with this whole loot thing for at least one game, and we see how that's worked out. So maybe next time things will be a little more fine-tuned.
The nice thing about the loot thing in Injustice 2 is that it's tied to the gear thing, and they have decided that creating gear was way too much work, apparently. So we probably won't see, like, individual costume pieces in 11. But, like, if they just put whole costumes in loot crates, look, I'm a sucker. I will pay money.
You're the
Full
reason.
transparency.
You're the reason.
Don't
for-
listen to this man, NRS. Don't listen to this man.
You're the.
You
It's
shouldn't.
people like you.
I am not condoning my own behavior. Don't do what I do. But if I can pay money to get a thing, I will do it. But the important thing to me is that it's an honest trade, that I get what I'm paying for. The problem with the gear system is that there's randomness, and you can buy something you already have accidentally.
Yeah.
And it's just not like just show me a picture of an item, and I will give you money to have that item. I don't want
Assuming it
any
is, of course,
mystery.
desired.
I don't want any fucking mystery. Just let me buy what I want.
Yeah.
And I'll
Is
do
anyone
it.
else?
Let me buy what I want.
Is anyone
Nice.
else hearing Nirvana? Rape me.
All right, well, we'll move on. Yeah, obviously, loot boxes can get nasty. Hopefully, that's the end of it in the NetherRealm world. And if they do it again, hopefully they do it better, and less just cheesy and just spammed with a bunch of crap. But we'll move on. We got a question from Smokeman here. It's not very
Well,
serious.
before we do that, I'm gonna probably
Yeah,
jump
go
off
ahead and
now,
jump.
man. But no, happy anniversary.
Yeah.
Good shit. Thank you so much for listening, guys. You all take care.
Yeah, adios, Temp. We'll see you
Mwah.
later.
Have a
Smokeman
good
says, how do you think they make those darn fatalities with a lot of thoughts and eating their vitamins?
They show us all these 3D models and tests that they do, and I'm sure what it actually really amounts to is the fact that they just watch a lot of snuff videos, and all of those puppies have to go somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm sure that if you checked out the demographics of puppy stores and mills around the Chicago area, you would find a lot of correlation between pet stores that didn't so much have many puppies in because they're being taken away by NRS to their grist mill to be mutilated and torn apart in a variety of interesting ways. All of this, by the way, is just food for the development staff. Nothing is wasted. Everything is shredded, minced, blown up, and everything makes a nice casserole afterwards.
It sounds delicious, all right? It just sounds damn delicious, and now I'm hungry. We gotta end the show because I'm getting real hungry. Right before we end the show, though, we got a few more minutes here. Did anybody want to come on for the episode? Just for a couple minutes. If you have something to say, just go ahead and post in the message to come on. It's its own text channel there. Make sure you use the emoji for the eggplant so we know you really want to come on. If you throw the eggplant emoji into the message to come on text channel, we'll bring you on for a couple minutes here just to discuss whatever you want. And then we'll cycle you out for the next person if there's multiple. If not, we're going to go ahead and end the show, so I'll give that about a minute to pan itself out. We got Mr. C. He wants to come on. I don't even know if we've had him on before. I see the eggplant emoji, so we'll bring him on. So give me 1 second. I'm going to cycle you in, so be prepared.
I'm never certain if like the people whose names I'm seeing here are people that I've met before.
It's Chris. I believe that's Chris Sayago on the Facebook, but I'm not entirely sure. We'll find out in a second. I'm going to bring him on, so I hope you're ready. Okay. And okay. All right. You should be able to talk. If you're not muted. If you're not muted. Are you there, Chris?
He might have to set it push to talk like I did the one time.
Shouldn't have to. I got the roles all figured out. He should be good.
Oh.
Yo,
Hey, what's up?
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. What's going on, man?
Guys, I'm going to work.
You're going to work?
Yeah, tomorrow.
That's no good. Me too. At least it's Friday though.
Yeah.
I gotta be in bed in half an hour. That shit sucks.
Yeah, we're old. So what do you do for work? Can you share that?
I work in a factory.
You work in a factory. What kind of factory?
It's clothes for athletic.
Athletic clothes. All right. So what's your favorite part about your job?
Getting paid. I think you're breaking up a little bit there. The same problems that we had earlier.
That's okay. Getting paid. That's, I'm pretty sure, everybody's favorite part of their job. Well, what did you want to talk about with us? Anything?
Who would you? There was one musician you'd love to support.
What?
I think what he's asking is if there was one musician we'd love to support MK or collaborate with the development staff with, or I don't know, supply a theme song, or
Yeah, put
supply a
music in
theme
the
song,
game.
or make themes, or what specifically?
Okay.
Like make that would help out,
Put music in the game, basically.
put music in the game and help
Okay.
out like the venue or the arena.
Sure. I'm gonna go. Geez, you got me on the spot here. You got me on the spot. I don't know. Razor Shad, you guys are bigger music people. What do you got?
I don't really have like a mainstream musician who I'd like to see, because it's hard to imagine an MK game where the tracks have lyrics. But
I'm not talking about
as far
lyrics,
as like just like
Hold
a
on,
musician,
hold on. What were you saying?
Atmospheric.
What were you saying?
He's not talking about lyrics.
well, I'm just saying like because if you say Metallica and then it's just make instrumental, that's not, you're kind of wasting Metallica. So I'm gonna pick a guy who does music in games industry already, and that's Mick Gordon.
Mick Gordon?
I dig that.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm gonna go a little bit left field here, real quick. Actually, it's probably my favorite composer. He's done a lot of good stuff in movies, and that's Hans Zimmer. I don't know what the hell he could come up with, but I'd like to see it.
I kind of hate Hans Zimmer.
I mean, he's been in so many. He's made the scores.
Yeah, but nothing
for so
he
many
makes is memorable. Like he doesn't
Whoa,
do themes
all right,
wrong.
all right.
The Hitman Blood
Okay,
Money's cool.
all right. Shad, what
Like
do you
if
got?
you'd said Danny Elfman or John Williams, I'd be right there with you.
Danny Elfman's good too.
A Danny Elfman MK soundtrack could be fucking weird, but I'd like to hear it. But no, I'm gonna give the typical goth guy answer, and I'm gonna say Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, aka Nine Inch Nails, because they've Trent specifically has come a really, really long way from over his career. He's done this. He started with 80s synth pop, and he moved into kind of redefining
I like 80s synth.
What the world sees as industrial and industrial rock, and he's just ever so gradually moved into all these film scores, which I wouldn't sit there and listen to those religiously the way I do in albums, but you listen to stuff like the Gone Girl soundtrack or the Vietnam War soundtrack.
Gone Girl is good.
He's got him and Atticus Ross have an ear for lyrics and the ability to build up something truly horrifying in the background, or something groovy as needs to be made groovy. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that they could actually tap into anything that an MK soundtrack needed, and I would love to fucking hear it. If you want to hear some shit to put you on edge, turn the lights off and listen to the Gone Girl soundtrack and go right to Consummation. Fuck you, you're not sleeping.
What the hell are you talking about? All right, well,
that is a really great pick, and it actually made me think of someone who I could see. Actually, it made me think of two who I would love to see work in an MK game. One of them's John Carpenter.
Yeah, I thought of that too.
Yeah,
Nice.
And the other is, if they remade MK3 specifically, Daft Punk.
Daft Punk. Yeah, that's an
Because I
interesting
love the Tron Legacy soundtrack.
I could see that.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, man, and we'd love to have you on again. Like I said, we'll be doing this every week, so anybody that wants to come on and ask a question, discuss a topic with us, just tune on. We'll try and do this at the end of each episode or whenever we make time for it. So,
was there anything else you wanted to ask? I feel like you were talking, but then you cut out for a second.
Yeah.
I just want to say I love the.
Sorry, you loved?
We've all loved before.
I love K3.
K3 something. We got K3. Katy Perry? I like Katy Perry, sure.
You guys not hear me?
You're having the same problem that we were having. Essentially,
it's technical difficulties. We'll work it out for next episode. I'll put a tutorial just to show people where to go with Discord if you're not familiar with it. You just gotta. Sometimes it filters out more of your voice than you want, so it's just a little slider bar. But just for the sake of timeliness, we're gonna end the episode now. But yes, thank you for coming on. And,
what we're hearing is 2 words, then nothing,
yeah.
then 2 words, then
So,
nothing. It's not your. How
about you scream what you're saying? Really yell it in there.
The MK3 track.
You love the MK3 soundtrack. There you go. I think that was
Yep.
my
man.
favorite things. Yeah, I love the MK3 soundtrack.
I complained about the atmosphere and everything. That was one of my worst of things. The soundtrack is not part of that. I love the music in MK3.
All right.
Damn straight.
Well, thanks for coming on, Chris, or Mr. C. Like I said, we'll be doing this again, so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to end this episode, and we're going to go ahead and bring it back here. So thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We're going to go ahead and end it here. Episode 79. It's our 3-year anniversary. Thank you guys so much for your support. Love you guys. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you for tuning in each and every week, or every time we're recording, whatever. And like I said, we'll be doing this more often. So if you're into, participating more with the show, be it asking questions throughout the show or coming on and chatting with us, we'll definitely do this more often. So I'll give everybody a bigger heads up. Like I said, this is going to be happening going forward. So if this is something you're interested in, now you'll be prepared for the next time. This is more of a kind of, I was trying to throw it together at last minute just because I thought it'd be cool to do this. So hopefully we'll get more community on the Discord. Once again, I'll put that link up in the description on YouTube, as well as I've got it on our Facebook and our Twitter if you want to go there. Hopefully we build up a pretty fun community on here, because I think it gives us some good options here. So thank you guys very much for tuning in. For Temp, he went to go see Thor. That's why he had to jump out real quick at the end here. He actually had tickets to go see Thor. I'm going to go see Thor on Sunday.
I'm seeing it tomorrow.
There you go. Thor it up. Thor it all weekend. Anyways, take care, guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Have a good night, folks. Have a good one, folks. I just dropped the ball on that.
That's okay. Hope everyone had a good Halloween, and stay away from... watch out for those pistols that have been found in Twinkies. Also, the Hellboy Injustice 2 was, I think we're all in agreement, was just kind of meh. But, all right. You guys take care. See you later.
Yep. Happy
Have a good one.
Day.
That was pathetic.
That's a little harsh. I mean, yeah, the 3 years could have been better, but, I mean, pathetic? All right, I guess. But you're still a jerk.